My whole family trended on social media because they bought a 100 million yuan castle to celebrate the birthday of their sponsored goddaughter. And that happened on the 7th day after I died, because I couldn't afford my medicine. Reporters interviewed my family. As far as I know, your biological daughter was sent to the countryside. Do you still keep in touch with her? My parents and my 2 older brothers showed subtle expressions. To avoid public backlash, they called me for the first time in 5 years. Celine, come back once you've learned to behave. Let's reunite as a family. But the voice that came through the phone was that of a strange man. You're the deceased's family, right? Come pick up her kid. Chapter 1. The TV in the hospital corridor showed my parents and my 2 older brothers surrounding their well-dressed goddaughter, Violet. Behind them stood the dazzling castle. At that moment, they were staring blankly at their phones. My eldest brother calmly hung up and said, Celine probably changed her number. My second brother snapped back to reality and agreed. Of course, how could she possibly be dead? My mom added, exactly, she hasn't even gotten married. There's no way she has a child. My dad looked kindly at Violet. Today is Vio's birthday. Don't bother with unlucky people. Since Celine is still being stubborn, just ignore her. My mom affectionately wrapped her arm around Violet and warned reporters. Vio is our daughter. Today is her day. Don't bring up people who'll upset her. Clearly, I am their daughter. Yet in their mouths, I was reduced to just a name. I clutched my chest. Shouldn't my heartbeat have stopped as a ghost? Then why did it hurt faintly? The morgue worker looked at the ended call, then at the TV. He lowered his head toward the little girl at his feet. Hey, little ghost. I'll take you to find your mommy, okay? My daughter nodded obediently. Okay. She was only 4. She still didn't understand why. After mommy was pushed into the emergency room, only an empty wheelchair came back out. She didn't understand what organ donation meant. She stubbornly waited outside the morgue, believing I would come out someday. The worker's heart softened, and he brought her to the Vargas residence overnight. I panicked. If they could abandon their own biological daughter so easily, why would they ever accept the child I gave birth to? Sure enough, when they returned and found my daughter at the door, each of them showed a look of disgust. What's going on? A beggar's little cripple wandered over here? I looked at my frail daughter sitting in her wheelchair. I hadn't tied her hair for over a week. Her hair was messy. She looked pitiful. My mom glanced at her and said lightly, the little girl looks pitiful. Since it's Vio's birthday, give her something to eat. Consider it good karma for Vio. Then they all tried to walk around her. My daughter tugged at my eldest brother's designer suit, leaving a dark, dirty handprint on it. Her voice was soft. Uncle, if I came here, can I see mommy now? Everyone turned back, seeing her dirty little face. They all froze. My daughter looked exactly like me when I was little. My mom subconsciously called out my name. Celine? I instinctively responded, then paused. How long had it been since she said my name so gently? Almost 8 years, right? They used to love me, but after high school, when they were afraid I'd feel lonely and brought Violet, the girl sponsored by the company, home to keep me company, everything changed. Seeing everyone staring at the girl with dazed expressions, Violet exclaimed in surprise, oh my, could this really be Celine's sister's child? Isn't she supposed to be in the countryside? How could she possibly have a kid? Chapter 2. Everyone's expression turned terribly ugly because of that remark. My eldest brother looked at my daughter coldly. Celine was already inappropriate back in school. It's no surprise she ended up having a child in the countryside. My second brother scoffed in disdain. Don't forget, she didn't behave back then, and she almost ruined Vio's reputation. My mom nearly choked with anger. What a sin! That unfilial girl gave birth to a disabled child and even dumped her at our door. She clearly doesn't want to raise her and wants to throw the burden on us. Tell her to take that cursed child and get lost. I never want to see her again. Violet immediately stepped forward to pat my mom's back, soothing her. The words cursed child echoed in my ears. Each one stabbed my heart like a knife. Mia is not a cursed child. She is my child, mine alone. Although my daughter's arrival wasn't what I originally wanted, without her, I would have died long ago. My dad looked around and snapped in anger. Where is Celine? Find her for me. The bodyguards began searching around the Vargas estate. Instinctively, I hid behind the wheelchair. I wanted to scratch the scars on my wrist, hoping the pain would relieve the suffocating pressure in my chest. Suddenly, the weight disappeared. Right, I'm already dead. I no longer have to endure their accusations. But I looked worriedly at my daughter before me. I feared she would suffer their wrath in my place. The bodyguards found nothing, and all of them looked grim. Violet pretended to comfort them. Maybe Celine realized she did something wrong and feels too ashamed to face you. Don't blame her. My mom patted Violet's hand. Vio, don't defend that ungrateful girl. If she were even half as good as you, I wouldn't be so disappointed in her. My dad was furious. She has completely disgraced this family. She got pregnant at such a young age, gave birth to a child, and now expects us to raise it? She's made the entire Vargas family lose face. And to think we were considering reconciling with her. From now on, the Vargas family has only one daughter, Vio. She can die out there for all I care. I watched their merciless backs as they left. I let out a bitter laugh. I did die out there. My daughter was left outside the door, staring hopefully at the joyful laughter inside the villa. Then, when will mommy come back? The only response was the piercing cold wind of early winter. She was so small, curled up in her wheelchair, clutching the little wooden stick in her hand. She whispered in confusion, "Mommy, how can Mia find you?" That wooden stick had once held cotton candy, the 5 yuan treat I bought her on the way to the hospital. She refused to eat it, insisting on saving half for me to eat after I came out of surgery. But she saved it for too long. The candy melted into a dark sticky syrup. My nose stung. I felt so guilty. I didn't think I would die so quickly. I thought I could hold on a little longer, long enough to find a place for my daughter. My daughter waited from day until night. Finally, the villa's door opened. It was my second brother, hands in his pockets. He looked at my daughter with mockery and kicked her wheelchair harshly. "Hey, where's your mom?" My daughter didn't answer. He looked at the silent surroundings. He sneered. She really is capable of anything. She could push Vio towards some creep, and she could abandon her own daughter. My eyes lowered. I knew what he was referring to. My second brother and I were fraternal twins. We attended the same school and the same grade. He fought off many boys who tried to harass me. Until our senior year, when Violet instructed a school bully to corner me in the restroom. When my brother arrived, Violet deliberately tore her own uniform and, together with the bully, accused me instead. I explained that I was the one being harassed, but his gaze was icy. "Vio is a girl. Why would she risk her own reputation to frame you?" He didn't believe me. So later, when some thugs dragged me into an alley, he merely glanced coldly and walked away without hesitation, leaving only one sentence behind. "Celine, if you pull this trick again, it won't work." Chapter 3. I came back to my senses from my thoughts. I found that my eldest brother had come out at some point as well. He handed his phone to my daughter. "Call your mom. Tell her to pick you up." My daughter didn't respond. He frowned. "Do you know your mom's number by heart?" Still no answer. My second brother laughed mockingly. "Just like her mom, terrible temper. Unlike Vio, who's gentle." My eldest brother shot him a look. "Stop saying things that give people headaches, especially in front of a child." "Chicken drumstick? Do you want a chicken drumstick?" My daughter woke up drooling. The two brothers exchanged a look. Taking advantage of the fact that our parents were asleep, they brought her into the villa. My daughter stared at the full table of food, swallowing hard. My eldest brother said, "Go ahead, eat." Her eyes were glued to the chicken drumstick, but she shook her head. "Mia won't eat it," Mommy said. "I must not eat food from strangers." My second brother let out an angry laugh. "We're not strangers. We're your mom's family." After saying that, he paused for a moment, seemingly dazed. My eldest brother's tone softened. "Your mom would let you eat. You need to be full to have the strength to look for her." My daughter's eyes lit up. "You know Mommy? That's great. Can you take Mia to find her?" The two exchanged a look, something complicated flickering in their eyes. My second brother muttered under his breath. Celine actually abandoned her own child. My eldest brother patted his shoulder and comforted the girl. "Eat first. We'll take you afterward." My daughter finally couldn't hold back and devoured the food ravenously. My second brother frowned in disgust. Eat slower. Did your vicious mom starve you? My daughter, cheeks puffed with food, shook her head and mumbled. Mommy doesn't like eating. She always puts the meat into Mia's bowl. She says she doesn't like meat, only wild vegetables. Of course they didn't believe that. The powerful and wealthy Vargas family couldn't imagine that. In the 21st century, someone couldn't afford meat, and they would never believe that their biological sister once got so hungry that she ate wild greens raw. They just assumed it was a story I taught my daughter. My eldest brother thought for a moment. Where did your mother go? Mia also wants to find mommy, but that uncle said Mia has to wait 3 years before she can be picked up. But he also said mommy is here. 3 years? What 3 years? My daughter was about to answer when the chicken drumstick slipped from her hand. She quickly crouched down to pick it up. The brothers' expressions changed drastically. You're not disabled? Ever since they first saw her sitting in a wheelchair, they had simply assumed she couldn't walk. My daughter held the chicken drumstick and blinked innocently at them. Nope. Mia can walk. Mia can even go into the mountains to pick firewood. My eldest brother frowned deeply, his tone full of irritation and disgust. Just as expected, runs in the family, lying for sympathy since childhood. Huh? I couldn't help recalling the time Violet deliberately pushed me down the stairs, then turned around and apologized to my parents. She said I had tried to push her, and she slipped instead. If she had known I would be hurt that badly, she would have dodged earlier. I desperately explained that I was the one who was pushed, but no one believed me, until my eldest brother pulled the surveillance footage. I thought I could clear my name, but Violet was too clever. In the footage, it really did look like I tried to push her and ended up falling myself. I will never forget the disappointment in my eldest brother's eyes. He said, Celine, being the weaker one doesn't mean you're right. So 5 years ago, when I returned home in complete distress, he didn't ask me a single question. He probably thought that anything I said would just be another attempt to frame Violet. They never trusted me. And now, they treated my daughter the same way. My daughter stuffed the chicken drumstick into her mouth. It's mommy's legs that can't walk. Ah. Chapter 4. She didn't finish her sentence. My eldest brother slapped the chicken drumstick out of her hand. It's dirty. Don't eat it. My daughter hurried to pick it up, but my second brother grabbed her wrist tightly. She cried and struggled nonstop. Let go! That's my chicken drumstick. After giving birth to her, my life had been extremely difficult. We rarely had meat at home. The meat we ate during the new year was something my daughter would talk about for an entire year. My second brother sneered. Did she make you act poor on purpose to guilt trip us? Every year we send Vio's parents several million for living expenses. How could you possibly be starving? At the very least, with her painting skills taught by a master, she could have supported herself. At the mention of Violet's parents, my whole body trembled uncontrollably. During the graduation ceremony, Violet deliberately tore her own dress. Then, nearly naked, she ran behind my parents. She cried to them. Sister said I'm from the countryside and don't deserve to wear something this nice. Mom, Dad, I should leave. I don't want to be an eyesore to sister. My parents were convinced that I skipped the college entrance exam out of jealousy because Violet got admitted into a prestigious university. They believed I sabotaged her on purpose. They scolded me for being vicious in front of the entire school. My mental state completely collapsed. I didn't defend myself. I just let them humiliate me. In their eyes, I was someone who refused to change no matter what. Out of anger, my parents dumped me at Violet's rural home, telling me to experience Violet's life. My life has gone downhill ever since, with no way back. What's the noise? My parents and Violet came downstairs. My mom frowned when she saw my daughter. Why did you bring her back? My eldest brother said, we couldn't leave a child outside to freeze and starve. My second brother added, yeah, we're not heartless like Celine. Everyone looked at my daughter with different expressions. Finally, my mom sighed. Take her down to wash up. Contact Celine and tell her to pick her up tomorrow. My eldest brother said, we've already sent someone to investigate. If she brought her daughter here, she must still be somewhere in Beijing. The maid cleaned my daughter and brought her back in front of them. The moment everyone saw her clean, fair little face, they all froze. Violet smiled softly and stepped forward to take her hand. She's really cute. I wonder if she looks more like her mom or her dad. My dad snorted coldly. Find out who that ungrateful daughter had the child with. Look into the man's character, family background, education, everything. We won't let her be fooled by some random guy. Hearing the hidden concern in his words, Violet's eyes flashed with malice. Suddenly, she let out a sharp scream and fell to the floor. Everyone rushed over. What happened? Vio? She clutched her arm delicately and shook her head. I just got poked a little. It's nothing. The child didn't mean it. I stood to the side and let out a cold laugh. Here we go again. Those cheap tricks could fool the entire family to dance around her. They worriedly looked at the red mark on Violet's arm. My eldest brother's gaze fell on the small wooden stick in my daughter's hand. His voice grew heavy. If Celine told you to come hurt Vio, I shouldn't have let you through the door. My second brother directly snatched the stick from her. So Celine knew Vio's depression finally got better, and she sent you to torment her. Is that it? Give it back. That's mine. My daughter lunged at him like a little angry beast trying to retrieve the stick. My second brother snapped it cleanly in half and tossed it in the trash. Disgusting. Who knows where she picked that up? It got my hands all sticky. My daughter tried to dig through the trash can. My eldest brother grabbed her and lifted her in front of Violet. Stop digging in the trash. Apologize to Vio. It's not trash. Mommy bought that cotton candy for Mia. We agreed to share half and half. My second brother mocked. That's just an excuse your mom used to ditch you. My daughter balled her fists and pounded on him. Mommy would never throw Mia away. She was pushed into a cold room in the hospital and then disappeared. That uncle said Mommy only died, and that if Mia came here, she could find her again. Chapter 5. The more they listened, the deeper everyone's frowns became. My eldest brother sounded a little anxious. Dead? Did your mom teach you to say that too? No one ever taught Mia to say anything. My mom clutched her chest. Celine is dead? Impossible. My second brother's hands trembled as he took out his phone. He found an account, and when he saw today's update date, he finally sighed in relief. Fake. She's lying. Celine isn't dead. Her account is still posting updates. I drifted over to look at his screen. It was indeed the gardening account I had opened. I recognized it right away. He hadn't followed it, but he had liked every post. I fell silent. So it was my second brother. But I didn't know what his intention was. My dad slammed the teacup onto the table. Her personality has been rotten for 5 years and still hasn't changed? Then give her 10. And if 10 years aren't enough, then she should never come back. The moment he said that, the air froze. My eldest brother's phone suddenly rang sharply. The voice from the other end was especially clear in the silent room. President Vargas. We found the person who brought the little girl to the Vargas residence. It wasn't Miss Vargas. It was a man. He's a morgue worker. My mom shot to her feet. What morgue worker? Morgue worker, hospital, death. These words combined were enough to startle everyone present. Violet quickly comforted her. There really is a 50-year-old morgue worker in our village. Maybe Celine got along well with him. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. They believed Violet without question. All the concern on their faces turned into disgust. My second brother clenched his teeth. She really has no self-respect. She even hooked up with a morgue worker. Chapter 6. Once again, they only listened to Violet's one-sided story. I smiled bitterly. It took me 8 years to accept that no one in this world loved me. Yet my heart still hurt as if it were being torn apart. Even if they knew I was dead, they would probably just say I deserved it. My eldest brother's expression was icy as he asked the caller, "What is his relationship with Celine?" "We haven't found that out yet. Once you find him, bring him to the Vargas residence immediately. I'll question him myself." My dad blew his beard and glared. That disgrace of a daughter is utterly shameless. Getting involved with a 50-year-old morgue worker, how am I supposed to face the ancestors of the Vargas family? When she's found, she must kneel in the ancestral hall for half a month. They had just said they didn't acknowledge me anymore, and now they wanted to punish me. If I were still alive, they'd be disappointed. Because my legs had long since been broken, the call ended. Everyone's gaze fell onto my daughter. She didn't understand, but even as a little child, she could sense that they disliked her. While they were on the phone, she had secretly picked up the broken wooden stick again and hid it behind her back. My eldest brother saw it but didn't say anything. My dad asked her, What is your father's name? My daughter shook her head in confusion. Mia only has mommy. My eldest brother frowned. Why only your mom? Mia always lived with mommy. Mia already finished her food like a good girl. Can Mia see mommy now? My eldest brother glanced at Violet and fell into thought. He said in a low voice, "At the latest. Tomorrow, we'll have news of your mom." My daughter didn't think they were lying. If she could see mommy tomorrow, then she could start waiting for tomorrow right now. She climbed back into the wheelchair, her tiny body curling up. My mom felt a pang of sympathy. Sit on the sofa. The wheelchair is too hard. My daughter shook her head. No. Mia will make it dirty. Clearly. She took my second brother's earlier insult to heart. My mom glared at him. My second brother touched his nose guiltily. My mom called a maid. Take the child upstairs to sleep. My daughter waved her hands. Thank you, uncles and aunties. Mia will wait for mommy here. Mia won't bother you. She was so small, yet so mature and detached that it hurt to watch, especially when they looked at her little face, exactly like mine when I was young. My second brother muttered, "This little brat, full of lies, but weirdly polite." Violet smiled. Yes, she really does feel a lot like Celine. The moment she said that, everyone withdrew their gentle gazes. Their expressions toward my daughter became complicated. Suddenly, my eldest brother, who had been silent, spoke up. Vio, why haven't I ever heard your parents say that Celine had a child? Didn't she always live in your house? Chapter 7. Everyone simultaneously turned to look at Violet. Even I was a little shocked. My eldest brother actually questioned Violet? For a brief second, Violet's smile froze, but she immediately returned to her gentle, tender expression. She shed tears, looking utterly innocent. Celine is an adult with her own hands and feet. If she wants to do something, my parents can't stop her. They can't exactly chain Celine up, right? Seeing her cry, my second brother immediately stepped in to defend her. Exactly. Even we can't control Celine. How could Vio's parents be expected to? Violet shook her head in self-blame. Since Celine ended up like this, it's understandable that Big Brother blames me. It's all because I didn't remind my parents to take better care of her. Everything is my fault. I shouldn't be alive. I should just die. She stood up as if to leave. My mom quickly grabbed her. What nonsense are you saying? Silly child. Celine is an adult. She chose her own path. How could this possibly be your fault? My second brother patted her head affectionately. Then he glared angrily at my eldest brother. Big brother, do I need to remind you? Celine's the one who drove Vio into depression that only recently got better. Are you trying to make her relapse by doubting her now? My eldest brother's searching gaze fell on Violet's face. In the end, he was defeated by her tears. Sorry, Vio, I shouldn't have taken it out on you. This isn't your fault. I sat beside my daughter, brushing her hair with a ghostly touch. They always believed Violet so easily. With just a few words. Sometimes I truly wondered whether I was even their biological child. As my mom gently urged Violet to go upstairs and rest, the doorbell suddenly rang. My eldest brother's subordinate brought someone inside. It was the bearded morgue worker from the hospital, under the burning stares of the Vargas family. He entered the living room. Uncle! My daughter lit up with joy and ran toward him. During those days in the hospital, he had often fed her, giving her whatever he could. She knew he was a kind person. The morgue worker patted her head. Hey, little one, we meet again. Many people despised his job, and my daughter was one of the few who dared go near him. Uncle, will Mia be able to find mommy tomorrow? The morgue worker paused, a flicker of pity in his eyes. Who told you that? My daughter pointed at my eldest brother. My eldest brother was also staring at him with a cold, scrutinizing gaze. What is your relationship with Celine? Chapter 8. I don't know her at all. The Vargas family clearly didn't believe him. Violet voiced the question they were all thinking. But this child seems really close to you. She's even closer to you than she is to her own relatives. Yes. Even now. She called them all uncle and aunt, never once calling them grandpa, grandma, or uncle in a familial sense. She was closer to a morgue worker than to her own blood relatives. They thought it was bad luck for a morgue worker to set foot in their house. Yet my daughter was leaning against his leg, The difference in closeness was painfully obvious. How could the morgue worker not hear Violet's sarcastic, insinuating tone? She was hinting that he had a special relationship with me and with my daughter. He chuckled. Maybe because I was the one who collected her mother's body? The Vargas family's breath collectively froze. They stared at him in disbelief. What did you say? The morgue worker added casually. By the way, the child's mother was named Celine, right? My second brother shot to his feet, grabbing the morgue worker by the collar. What nonsense are you spouting? Celine is alive and well. How could she possibly be dead? My mom was panicked. Yes. How dare you curse my daughter? The morgue worker gave a dismissive laugh. So the deceased actually had family? The doctor searched through her phone, but couldn't find a single contact. Good thing she signed the organ donation agreement before dying, otherwise her body wouldn't even have had a place to go. The Vargas family stood frozen on the spot. Violet calmly raised a new suspicion. Sir, could it be that Celine hired you to act this out? She used to lie often. The Vargas family snapped back to reality and began doubting everything. My second brother exploded in rage. He punched the morgue worker hard in the face. Say one more word cursing my sister and see what happens. The morgue worker crashed to the ground. My daughter rushed to help him up. Uncle is a good person. You hit Uncle. You're the bad guys. Mia hates you all. The morgue worker stood, rubbing my daughter's head. He looked at them with mocking disdain. If you don't believe me, you can check the evidence. Her death file is still at the hospital. Chapter 9. Because of one sentence from the Vargas family, the county hospital director's office was brightly lit. The entire Vargas family entered the hospital. My mom stumbled, and my eldest brother quickly supported her. Inside the director's office were not only the director but also my attending physician. The director respectfully handed my death file to my father. All the information regarding your daughter is here. My dad reached out to take it, but his hands trembled so badly that he couldn't even hold a few sheets of light paper. My eldest brother caught them in time. He took a deep breath and opened the file. After reading it, his lips trembled, speechless, and 2 silent tears fell. My mom and second brother had been watching his face. There was nothing more to question. Their voices broke as they choked up. My dad stared blankly at the empty desk. His voice was hoarse. How is it? It's not Celine, right? That girl always lies. My mom grabbed the file in a panic, flipping through it again and again, desperately searching for something that proved it wasn't me. She flipped and flipped until finally she pointed at the photograph. This isn't my daughter. My daughter wasn't this old, or this fat. Hearing that, my second brother leaned in closer. The person in the photo looked like me, yet didn't. His memories remained frozen 5 years ago, when I was still young and full of life. The woman in the photo looked like a wilted flower. My second brother collapsed, grabbing the director's collar. Tell me, why did my sister turn into this? The attending doctor immediately explained. It's like this. Miss Vargas suffered a broken leg and developed spinal inflammation. Some of the medication contains hormones, which can cause weight gain. My eldest brother turned sharply to look at him. Her leg was broken? Everyone turned to the little girl sitting in the wheelchair by the door and understood. The wheelchair was mine. My daughter hadn't pretended to be disabled. I was the one who couldn't walk. My mom and second brother instantly burst into uncontrollable tears. My father seemed to age 10 years in a single moment. He looked at the doctor. Was there some mistake? Spinal inflammation, if treated properly, isn't so easy to die from. The attending doctor sighed. If she followed the full treatment plan, her risk of death would have been much lower. She came to get medication only when she absolutely couldn't bear the pain. Every month she needed the medicine. Miss Vargas held on until she couldn't anymore. The last time she came was last week. Her condition was already very bad. I insisted she needed monoclonal antibody treatment immediately, but she refused. She said she didn't have enough money and insisted on buying only the regular medication. I could only adjust her prescription. Her usual medicine was around 1,700 yuan. The adjusted medication cost 2,432 yuan. I gave Miss Vargas the prescription that day, but she didn't buy it. She didn't even make it out the hospital gates before she was sent to the emergency room. When my colleague went through her phone to contact her family, we found her bank balance was only 2,427 yuan. She was 5 yuan short. The doctor's voice cracked. She always came to appointments with only that little girl in the wheelchair accompanying her. If I had known she was struggling so much, I would have covered those 5 yuan. But who could have known? How ironic. They spent 100 million on the goddaughter's birthday. Their own daughter struggled over 5 yuan for medicine. The room fell silent. Only the staggered sound of sobbing filled the air. I was a little surprised. So, they would grieve for my death. Was this love? My daughter took out the broken wooden stick and murmured softly. It was cotton candy. Cotton candy costs 5 yuan. Chapter 10. She looked at the corpse carrier beside her. Uncle, is it because of Mia? The corpse carrier covered her mouth. Children shouldn't speak about matters that belong to adults. I looked at the man with gratitude. My daughter still didn't understand death. I didn't want her to fall into guilt at such a young age. I was even more worried that the Vargas family, overwhelmed by sudden grief, would blame her. After learning that my condition had worsened, I hadn't wanted treatment anymore. I wanted to arrange my affairs first. But this body was still too weak. It collapsed right at the hospital entrance. My second brother screamed hoarsely. This must be fake, right? Celine is the best at lying. This must be another one of her tricks. The dean said, your daughter's body has already been sent to the city medical university. You can go see her. I don't believe it. I clearly saw her account update yesterday. My second brother took out his phone and repeatedly checked the update time on my homepage. See? My sister isn't dead. He dialed my number. The ringtone came from my daughter's pocket. Hello? My second brother looked at the little girl who answered, tears streaming down his face. It was only a few steps away. Yet he walked toward her unsteadily. He asked, Mia, do you know these photos? My daughter looked at the screen and nodded. Mommy also grows flowers. She takes pictures every day. These were taken by me at the flower beds at the hospital entrance. She had been updating my account, imitating my habits. My second brother tapped into the posts. The recent photos looked completely different from before. He broke down crying. My eldest brother, eyes red, asked, why? What exactly happened to Celine? He searched for Violet and saw her in the corner tapping at her phone. Violet. I'm asking you, haven't you always said Celine was living well at your house? What is going on? The cold gazes of the Vargas family pierced into her. Violet's heart jolted violently, and she swallowed with difficulty. I'm very sorry about what happened to Celine. I also wanted to ask my parents what's going on. My eldest brother grabbed her wrist and looked at her phone screen. Is that so? Then what does this plane ticket abroad mean? You even bought tickets for your parents? Violet tried to explain. No, it's not like that. I thought everyone must be feeling terrible after what happened to Celine. So I planned to take everyone overseas to relax. I just hadn't bought tickets for the rest of you yet. Stop pretending. My second brother seized her wrist harshly. You've always known Celine was suffering, haven't you? Now that something happened to her, you want to run? Are you involved in her death? My eldest brother made a call. Hold Violet's parents under control. Find out everything about what Celine went through these years. Violet stared at the resentment in the eyes of her adoptive parents and brothers. At this point, no matter what she said, they wouldn't believe her. She let out a laugh. I killed Celine? Really? The ones who killed her are you. My mom rushed over and slapped her. We Vargas have treated you well. Is this how you repay us? Violet laughed angrily. Treated me well? You said I was your daughter. Yet you never let me change my surname. Celine Vargas gets a share of the inheritance. Why don't I? You've never regarded me as family. My parents stared at her in disbelief, as if seeing her for the first time. They thought bringing her out of that remote village and giving her a comfortable life and elite education was already love. But this was far from enough for Violet's appetite. So we raised a vicious wolf. Very quickly, my eldest brother's men uncovered everything about my past years. After reading the documents, my eldest brother's strength collapsed completely. He fell to the ground. My second brother picked up the phone to look and burst into tears. Eyes bloodshot. He grabbed Violet by the throat. You monsters, your whole family are monsters. Your parents locked her in a pig pen and even wanted to marry her off to your brother. When she tried to escape, they broke her legs. How could you do something so utterly inhuman? My parents froze. They stared at Violet in despair. How could this be? You told us your parents were kind and the villagers simple and honest. My eldest brother covered his face, sobbing, "It's all my fault." If only I had realized she was begging me for help back then. Chapter 11. The night Violet's brother tried to force himself on me, I set the entire village on fire. I wanted all of us to die together, but the police arrived too quickly, and I was rescued as well. My eldest brother came to the police station, not to bail me out, but to apologize to the whole village on my behalf, to deal with the aftermath, and even give Violet's family a large sum of money. He brought Violet with him, looking down at me from above. "You hurt Vio's parents, and because of that Vio slit her wrists at home. Go apologize to them." I said nothing. He left behind one sentence, stubborn and hopeless, and turned away. Back then, he was focused entirely on Violet, and failed to notice the burns on my body or my twisted legs. Later, I was taken back to that village again. I knew the hell waiting for me there would be worse than death. On the way back, I opened the car door and jumped into the river without hesitation. But I didn't die. An elderly woman who lived alone rescued me. My hand had broken then, and the old woman took me to the hospital. She didn't have much money, so I told her not to bother with me. I didn't want to live. She told me to think about the child in my belly. Only then did I realize that I was carrying a bastard child inside me. I had no money, couldn't even pay for an abortion. Again, I wanted to end my life. The old woman stopped me. She didn't have any hobbies. She only loved tending flowers. She hugged me. "You must have suffered a lot to be this unhappy. If you have the courage to die, why don't you have the courage to raise yourself anew? Look at me. I was trafficked to this remote mountain village. I outlived my in-laws, and then outlived my husband and my child. As long as you're alive, endless possibilities exist." She taught me how to grow flowers. She also bought many folk remedy abortion medicines for me. But no matter what, the child wouldn't come out. She wanted to live so badly. By the time the pregnancy was far along, it couldn't be terminated anymore. And so, muddle-headed, I ended up with a child. 2 years after my daughter was born, the old woman passed away. I buried her and began taking care of the flowers she left behind. Chapter 12. The corpse carrier pulled the pale-faced Violet out of my second brother's grip. "She's about to die." My second brother snapped out of his trance and looked at Violet. "Letting you die would be too easy." My parents' eyes fell on my daughter. "Then, who is the father of this child?" My eldest brother rubbed his head in exhaustion. "We already have someone investigating." My second brother stared blankly at my daughter, a faint uneasiness growing in his heart. They must have already guessed it, hadn't they? Why I missed the college entrance exam. The day before the exam, I was dragged into an alley by thugs. My second brother saw it happen, then turned away with Violet, the silhouettes hovering over me. I couldn't distinguish who was who at all. I wanted to call for help, but I didn't know who I could call. No one believed me. No one cared about me. Not until dawn, when those men finally left. My eldest brother returned from the company. I hadn't even spoken when he silenced me, telling me not to pretend to be weak to slander Violet. I went to my mother, wanting her help to call the police. She was busy preparing the gown Violet would wear for her graduation ceremony. I approached her. She told me to stay away so I wouldn't dirty Violet's dress on purpose. I laughed as I stepped out of the room. My father saw me and told me to have some self-respect, to stop messing around with men outside. My heart died completely. I went back to my room and swallowed sleeping pills. For 2 whole days, I neither woke up nor died. Then came the graduation ceremony, and under the excuse of experiencing life, I was forced to exchange lives with Violet. My eldest brother received the investigation results. They matched their assumptions almost perfectly. The school bully was Violet's childhood friend from the same village. She was the one who shoved me down the stairs. She was the one who slashed her own dress. The thugs, every single one, were hired by the school bully under Violet's instruction. Even Violet's so-called depression diagnosis originally belonged to me. She edited the report and fooled them with a photoshopped picture. The sick one had always been me. I had long been sick. Inside the dean's office, the Vargas family cried together in a miserable heap. My father walked forward and slapped Violet twice. Hard. "Celine suffered because of you." Violet scoffed. "What do you mean I caused it? You're the ones who handed me the knife, and now you act innocent? My second brother slapped himself repeatedly. I deserve to die. I didn't believe you. My eldest brother punched the wall viciously. I wronged you. My mother cried with her soul torn apart. Celine, my Celine. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you ask mommy for help? Back when I was beaten until I spat blood by Violet's parents, I did think of asking her for help, but before I could say anything, she cut me off first. Celine, unless you're apologizing to Vio, don't even think about coming home. When I said her family were not good people and had beaten me, she said I was malicious. That slandering Violet was one thing, but how dare I slander her entire family? If her parents were bad people, how could they have raised such a gentle, lovely daughter? I had once been abandoned by the whole world. Seeing them now, crying with snot and tears everywhere, my heart felt nothing, only noise. My mother, heartbroken to the extreme, fainted. Everyone scrambled again, rushing her into the hospital room. Before leaving, the corpse carrier handed my daughter a phone number. Call me if you ever need anything. Chapter 13. The Vargas family took back all the property they had given to Violet. In an instant, everything she had worked hard to build over the years vanished into nothing. Meanwhile, my father and eldest brother worked secretly in the shadows. A staged car accident left Violet's parents and brother all severely injured. Her mother became a vegetable. Her father's leg was broken, and her brother was left partially paralyzed. As for Violet, she was locked in a basement with more than a dozen beggars for 3 days. Before being thrown into the basement, she screamed hysterically, "Why are you doing this to me? I'm also your daughter and your sister." My father's face remained expressionless. Our family has had only one daughter from beginning to end, Celine. My eldest brother coldly shut the door on her. On the 3rd day, when she was dragged out, she looked like nothing more than a hollow shell with no soul left. My second brother personally broke all 4 of her limbs. The pain my sister suffered, you will repay it 100-fold. My eldest brother ordered for Violet to be thrown back to her home. Her father and brother saw her as the culprit who had destroyed their family, forgetting entirely all the benefits they once enjoyed because of Violet. In that run-down house, they fought among themselves like vicious dogs every day. By the time everything was dealt with, the Vargas family sat in the living room in complete silence. My parents looked as if they had aged 10 years in just a few days. They looked at my daughter. Their eyes were filled with both longing and resentment. My daughter looked like me. They treated her as a vessel to hold their grief and nostalgia. They bought her many expensive things, but they never got close to her emotionally. They resented the sinful blood running through her veins. I understood their complicated feelings toward my daughter, just like how I felt when I first discovered I was pregnant with her. Even in the first 2 years after her birth, my feelings toward her were detached. Seeing her reminded me of that hopeless night, but watching her grow day by day, seeing the way she looked at me with dependence, I realized that love and hate could be separated. I sighed. I no longer asked much of the Vargas family. As long as they allowed my daughter to grow up safely, that was enough. Finally, they decided to visit me at the City Medical University. When they walked into the storage room at the school, they supported each other as they entered. The moment they saw me lying on the hospital bed, their tears flowed once again. Only my daughter. She ran toward me with delight. "Mommy, I finally found you." Chapter 14. My daughter held my hand tightly and pressed it against her neck. "Mommy, your hand is so cold. Mia will warm it for you." "Mommy, why aren't you talking?" "Mommy, are you annoyed because Mia talks too much again?" "Mommy, Mia takes pictures of the flowers every day. You know?" I stood beside her, watching her chatter nonstop. I almost wanted to laugh. She put her little face into my palm. "Mommy, Mia missed you. Please don't leave Mia, okay?" At first, I truly didn't want you, but later, I treated you as my only family. My only regret was that I couldn't arrange a safe future for her before the end. The Vargas family was visibly moved by my daughter's behavior. My mother grabbed my hand, crying like her soul was splitting apart. "Celine, our family is finally reunited." My father's eyes were full of tears. "I'm sorry, my daughter, we came too late." My eldest brother gently stroked my cheek. "It was my fault. I didn't believe you." My second brother squatted in the corner, clutching his head as he sobbed. It's all my fault. How could I trust someone else so easily? Celine was the sister I loved since we were children. Finally, my mother fainted once again. Everyone rushed to get her to the hospital. The doctor reminded them, the patient must not get overly emotional. Please take great care. My eldest brother nodded. Suddenly, my father asked, "Where's Mia?" I froze. She had been right by the hospital bed just a moment ago. I walked out of the room and saw my daughter running down the hallway. Relieved, at least she wasn't lost. I had just turned around when a small hand tugged at mine. My whole body went still. I stared at my daughter, wide-eyed. She looked up timidly. "Mommy. Mia has bad people's blood in her." "Mia. Mia. Can Mia still call you mommy?" She didn't understand what the Vargas family meant by bad people's blood, but she understood that her very existence had once brought me pain. She was scared I wouldn't want her. "How can you be so silly? Why did you come looking for me? Why did you come find me?" "Mia isn't silly. Mia doesn't want anything, only mommy." She lifted the cotton candy in her hand. "Mommy, have some sugar. Last time we said we'd share half and half, but you broke your promise. This time, the whole cotton candy is for you." My daughter didn't know what love meant. She only knew that if she loved someone, she would give them all the cotton candy she adored. I burst into tears. I thought no one in the world loved me, but she loved me more deeply than I ever imagined. Chapter 15. By the time the Vargas family realized my daughter was missing, it was already that night. She knew they didn't really like her, so she usually stayed quietly in her wheelchair, never approaching them. But now the wheelchair was empty. My eldest brother immediately pulled up the surveillance footage. They discovered that after leaving the City Medical University, my daughter never got into the car. At some point, she must have slipped off the wheelchair. Their attention had all been focused on my mother. My daughter had bought cotton candy with the pocket money my father gave her, then taken pictures of 2 flowers and posted them on my account. After that, she secretly slipped into the storage room at the medical university, carrying the cotton candy, and lay down beside me. When the Vargas family rushed back, what they saw was my daughter nestled in my arms. Once again, they broke down in tears. I hadn't left them cold, lifeless belongings. I had left them a living person. And now, that person had become cold as well. The one who came to handle my daughter's body this time was again the corpse carrier. When my daughter saw him, she bounced excitedly. "It's the same uncle again, Mommy. He's a really good person." He patted her hair gently. With a sigh, he said, "If I had known, I shouldn't have called you a little ghost. I didn't expect you to really become one. Little ghost. You finally found your mom this time, didn't you?" My daughter nodded vigorously beside him. "Uncle, you were absolutely right. Mia found Mommy." "Thank you, Uncle." The Vargas family buried my daughter with me. From then on, we could never be separated again. Before our souls completely faded, my daughter asked me a question. "Mommy, in the next life, can Mia become the mommy instead?" I was stunned. "Why?" "So that the person who gets sick and takes the medicine can be Mia. Then Mommy won't have to suffer anymore. Mia isn't afraid of pain, Mia can suffer instead. A person is hurt in one place and healed in another. Only then can life maintain even a fragile balance."